Hi guys, I'm Jay, CEO of OKEx. If we say Bitcoins are reimagining the money, DeFi is reimagining financial systems. Savings, lendings, borrowing, decentralized exchanges, derivatives, insurance, DeFi is becoming a borderless alternative to traditional finance in decades. So the recent hype makes us to see more people get interested in DeFi. It's time to help them to realize the existing projects and the entire ecosystem. And OKEx DeFi Roundtable is a virtual talk series to invite DeFi projects from various segments in the industry to talk about their progress, insights, and future developments. The series will be hosted for the whole month in July. So I'm your host. Our first guest is in the roundtable is a strategy lead at the Compound Labs, Calvin Liu. Thank you for coming, Calvin. Can you briefly introduce yourself here?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Jay, and thanks, OKEx, for having me. I'm Calvin Liu. I'm the head of strategy at Compound Labs, the company that built and deployed the Compound protocol. I was the second employee on the team. Over the past 3 years, have worked on basically everything business related. So I lead all business initiatives. Over the past 3 years, that's run from fundraising, operations, to hiring, to strategy. But today it's really focused on sort of growth and adoption. So educating developers, educating trading firms, educating exchanges, custodians, how they can best use Compound to accomplish their own goals.
Okay, that's very good. Nice to see you here, Calvin. Well, I guess today's topic is beyond hype, the future of DeFi and crypto lending. With so much to cover today, let's just skip the formality and jump right into it.
Sure.
So, what are your thoughts on Compound's success right now? Did you expect this spurring growth of DeFi and crypto lending a few months ago?
Yeah, it's a great first question. The short answer is kind of no. I first got into crypto in late 2013 through Bitcoin. There was a kind of a Bitcoin bubble then. I lived through this big bubble in 2017, 18. The past few years have been tough in crypto. Not a lot of activity, bear market. Really recently is the first time in the past 3 years that there has been like a huge amount of excitement, at least from what I've seen, around like these types of opportunities, like these sort of altcoins or DeFi opportunities. People are calling it the new ICOs, things like that. So really, Compound has been 3 years in the making. Our view is always towards the long term. Even now, we have goals that are 100 times bigger than what has been achieved to date. We didn't think it would happen so fast, sort of the immediate pickup of Comp after it launched. But I think we're also well aware that the market is fickle. Things could go down again tomorrow. They could go up 10x tomorrow. Our goal is just to be here for the long term, the next 10 years, the next 50 years, building a business. Well, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, okay, well, that's very good. In the crypto world, every day is new. It's like every day is a brand new day, and it's going very fast. So the next question is that the idea of DeFi governance with the CLMP token has sparkled in the field. What led to making the choice of that it's time to decentralize decision-making of Compound's ecosystem?
Yeah, for this, I'll talk a little bit about the story of Compound. Originally, when we came up with the idea for Compound, the first question we asked was, could we build kind of a bank on top of Ethereum that's powered by Ethereum? And when we drilled into this question, we discovered 3 years ago that Ethereum didn't have the basic building blocks of what a bank needs in terms of basically technology. A simple way to take in assets and let other people borrow them that generates an interest rate. This is sort of like the most basic building block of a bank. It didn't exist. So we decided to focus on building that instead. And since day one, we've thought about it as, even though today we have our own interface and product that people access Compound with, we actually would just want to be the back end for hundreds or thousands of applications and interfaces that people can use to access Compound. So the only way I think we thought that we could become like this sort of really reliable, trusted layer that people are willing to build their businesses on top of, and that can scale very, very big, is to have it be owned by the community. So the vision is really that like the exchanges that integrate Compound, the applications that integrate Compound, they will earn comp over time and have more and more of a say of how the underlying protocol works, which is sort of similar to how like the banking system works. Like banks kind of have a say, at least in the US, of like what, you know, like the federal funds, interest rates, things like that. They have a little bit of say in how the underlying monetary system works because they're really important players on top of that system. And we're trying to build that underlying layer. Right now, we're still very small, but the vision is that eventually we do it for all crypto finance.
Yeah, actually, I noticed that the Compound has surpassed MakerDAO.
Yeah,
That's a tremendous success.
thank you.
Yeah, let's get deeper into the tech side. And different from other DeFi projects, Compound presented its own decentralized price oracle. So you call it the open oracle system instead of integrating other price feed solutions. How special is it?
Yeah, it's there are a lot of great Oracle solutions that exist in crypto today, and they're getting better all the time. Um, we we've looked at a lot of those solutions, and mostly we thought Compound needed something that was specifically tailored to Compound's use case. And actually, some of the solutions out there we thought were a little bit too heavyweight, a little bit too generalized for other use cases. And we thought that we could design a decentralized price oracle that was basically perfect for Compound specific use case and other DeFi projects. So actually what we've built is really just a standard that anyone can contribute prices to, but they can sign the prices they contribute and prove that they submitted it. So for example, OKEx or OKCoin or any exchange could come and provide their prices from their API, sign it, and then a user of this oracle could basically go to the price oracle, say, oh, these are prices coming from OKEx, OKEx signed it, let me go check and make sure that it really is them. If it is, then I as a user can just choose to use that price feed. So it's really just like another model, another standard. It's a little bit simpler and trimmed down versus the other Oracle systems, but we think it's perfectly suited for this type of DeFi use case.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. Yeah, the open oracle system has been integrated into OKEx recently. You mentioned that. We all know that. Besides that, what do DeFi projects like your site, Popo OKEx, will do to facilitate the DeFi space as a role of decentralized players?
Yeah. I mean, exchanges like OKEx, who's one of, if not the biggest exchanges in the world, you guys have the most customer relationships. You kind of have the channel to the users of crypto. You're also sort of like the onboarding channel for new crypto people. They're going to go to a centralized exchange where they kind of have a flow they're used to. Like I put in dollars or fiat, I get crypto, and this is where I start. And so you're the gateways into crypto. You're where most of the activity happens. I think what's happening in DeFi today is starting to prove that DeFi can offer a lot of really interesting financial opportunities to users, to crypto users. Right now, it's still very hard to use. Like if I put money into OKCoin or OKEx and I wanted to use Compound, it's actually pretty hard. I need to either get like MetaMask or Ledger or something. I need to learn basically how Block Explorer works. I need to learn how Ethereum works before I can use it. So I think what we're hoping for over time is that these types of DeFi technologies like Compound just get adopted into the exchanges, the centralized exchanges, because you kind of have the ability to integrate it and hide or abstract away all the complexity, but still let your users access this type of financial opportunity.
Okay, so basically, you're making it much simpler. You make a simpler version, so people have easier access to the all the financial tools.
Yeah, because they trust you. And so if you set up, if you OKEx, for example, used Compound, you could sort of pass the benefits along to your customers.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's correct. That's correct. Um, the next question is, some people are worried that a recent surging popularity of DeFi is going to backfire. So that kind of creating a new ICO bubble. Is this too pessimistic?
It's not too pessimistic, I think, because when you are talking about people's hard-earned money, it's the responsibility of the founders and the builders and the operators to make sure that money is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's money to be made, there's going to be people trying to take advantage of it. I can really only speak from Compound's perspective. We first launched Compound in May 2018, so over 2 years ago. Today, there's $1.5 billion in Compound. We've never had any incident of a user losing funds, no exploits, no hacks, no bugs. And we launched our token, the token in June 2020. So there's 2 years in between the launch of Compound and the launch of the token. Now you see projects that are just starting, launching tokens immediately and doing yield farming or liquidity mining tactics. And these projects are attracting a lot of capital, but they haven't been nearly as tested as Compound. I think it's inevitable eventually that one of them is going to cause users to lose money. I hope not. I hope that I'm wrong. I sort of think that it's inevitable just because it's becoming so popular. But I certainly think that users should be very, very cautious, about the risks that they're taking when they're using new products.
Okay, so the best way they have to be very cautious on picking choosing the platform or the project they will be working with.
Which is really hard for a user who doesn't understand a lot about crypto. So that really kind of circles back to your question about how large centralized players can play a role. You guys understand crypto better, so you can kind of decide which projects are actually worth presenting to your users.
Yes, that's right.
Understand them.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. DeFi platforms are only as safe as code they have. So over the last several months, DeFi is seeing a number of security issues. For Compound, how do you prevent users from security risks in the future, now and in the future, present and the future?
I personally think that there's never any way to prove without a doubt that there's no bug or exploit possible in a contract. It's just logically you can't prove that it doesn't exist. The only thing you can do is sort of look at how long has this project been live, how much money has it held, and then the longer it's been around, with the more money held in it, the safer it is. Just kind of like Bitcoin. You can't really prove that it's not hackable, but now that it's been around for almost, for 10 years, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So you assume that it's safe. And that is, I think, sort of the perspective you should take to crypto projects as well. So the number one point I'd make is, again, that Compound's had hundreds of millions of dollars in it for years, basically, and never had an incident. So that's pretty good empirical proof that it's safe. But beyond that, we've spent I think we have more security audits than probably any other DeFi project. We've had 12. We spent, we're really fortunate to have really strong investors, which has allowed us to afford spending a ton of money on security audits. I think we're one of the only, we were definitely the first project to ever do an economic audit. So we hired a firm, Gauntlet Networks, to basically create these simulation models of how compound would perform in various market scenarios. And so we know the protocol is safe even from an economic design perspective. Since day one, what we care about is making sure user funds are safe. And so far, we've been able to do that.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like you're building a very trustworthy DeFi system. And so people will actually put their faith in your system and completely trust you guys. And yeah.
I hope so. That's, actually with the launch of the token, the system is decentralized and really on the path to being fully decentralized, to where the goal of that is that they don't even have to trust us. We built and launched the thing, but over time, as the token gets into the hands of more and more users, it will be really up to them what happens to the protocol in the future, what types of upgrades it has, what markets it supports, what the interest rate models look like, things like that. And even today, like if our team got hit by a bus and disappeared, the protocol would continue to run as intended as long as Ethereum ran. And we think that's the only way to make the thing last 50 years, 100 years.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So the next question is a little bit long. So the first half, first half of 2020 has been a harvest for compound and farmers. So any plan for the rest of this year you want to share with us? And what are you thinking of building next for compound and DeFi? Will the direction be related to the combination of CeFi and DeFi, like MakerDAO?
Yeah, that's a really fun and exciting question. Just thinking about what our team will do next is really exciting. So we really think that as of June 2020, our team, Compound Labs, our work on the Compound protocol is finished. It's up to governance now. Now, some of the team, some of the investors, a lot of users of Compound have comp tokens, which lets them participate in governance. But the only way to make changes to the Compound protocol in the future is if you have tokens and you propose a change and other people voted in. So part of what our team cares about now is making sure that there's good governance in place for this protocol that we originally put out into the world, but is now owned by token holders. And so that's going to be a lot of what we focus on, is just setting up governance to be really successful. But as for what we're going to build next, over the past 3 years, we've shipped updates or products like 4 times. We shipped Compound V1, Compound V2, governance, comp token. That's basically it. We only ship things like every 6 to 8 months. And that's because the development cycle is so long on Ethereum. You can't mess up. You need to invest a lot in security and audits and things like that. And it takes a lot of time to do things correctly. So I actually think it's gonna be another 4 to 6 months before the world sees the next thing that we're working on. We're gonna take time to make sure it's designed properly, build it properly, launch it properly. But what I can tell you is the general space we're thinking in is there's starting to be successful efforts to represent Bitcoin synthetically on the Ethereum blockchain. So they're different blockchains, but there are ways to port Bitcoin from the Bitcoin blockchain onto the Ethereum blockchain, so you can use it in DeFi protocols like Compound. So the sort of next question we want to ask is, can we represent other off-chain assets off of Ethereum? Not just Bitcoin, but maybe other blockchains, and then eventually things that aren't even on blockchains at all, like maybe invoices or mortgages or something like that. And then eventually, how can we represent things that aren't even tangible, like reputation or identity, so that you could do credit-based borrowing? And that's the general space that that's the general direction we're trying to go. But yeah, it'll be some time before we announce anything concrete, it will probably be, this could all change, but it'll probably be a separate set of smart contracts, but it'll probably be complementary to the original protocol.
Yeah, that's very good. I see a lot of use cases for Compound 2 moving in the future. That's very good. I guess we get to the final question. Calvin, would you suggest one word to describe the future of DeFi and why?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. There's so many good words, that I could use. I live and breathe DeFi all day, 24/7 for years.
Mm-hmm.
The word that sort of comes to mind is kind of a weird one, but really just exponential. Like, I think one thing people should realize is 2 years ago, DeFi didn't even exist as a word. 1 year ago, there were like 5 DeFi projects. Today, there's like 100. The rate of growth is not linear, it's exponential. And like when things grow at exponential rate, very quickly you turn around and you be like, holy crap, where did this come from? 2 years ago, DeFi didn't exist. Today, there's 100 companies working on DeFi products. Next year, there may be 1,000. After that, 10,000. And then, they take over the world. People underestimate this exponential rate of growth that I think is really happening in DeFi because it's so accessible. Any engineer, any person who's interested in it can use it, can build on it, can contribute ideas to it. Like within DeFi, everything is so open. Every project has a Discord or a Telegram that you can talk to the team directly. That's not the case in traditional startups or technology. So like anyone can get involved if they want to, and that just means that the community and the number of projects is growing exponentially.
Oh, that's a pretty good word. I like it. I like it. It's a fabulous word. Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here. Our first guest in our OKEx DeFi Roundtable, Calvin. OK traders and I for sure enjoy what you have shared with us on the Compound, DeFi, and the future of the industry. So yeah, any final remarks?
Yeah, thank you very much. What we are doing at Compound, we're still just a 16-person team, something like that. And we grew up looking to businesses like OKEx, who have really led the way. We hope, obviously, to work with you more and more over the future. But, I think crypto is still gonna grow 100 to 1,000 times bigger than it is today. And hopefully we're both big winners.
Yes, we will. Yeah, thank you for coming, Calvin.
Thank you.
Have a nice day now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.